Good morning, everybody. Happy hump day. Good to see you. All 9 of you so far. Wow. Kelsey's going long this morning. And in case you've been waiting on Kelsey's channel and not seeing the live stream, because I looked and there were people chatting away on Kelsey's channel and showed, 10 people, 15 people waiting. Go to Dr. Nelson's channel. They're streaming on that while Ali straightens out this phenomenal, unfair mess that Kelsey got himself into on his channel. At any rate, we're here. They're still going strong over there. So we'll see how long that goes. I had a great show this morning. Good guest, Jenny. Scott Iverson. And I think they're going to be doing it on Ali's channel and Kelsey's channel until, Ali and Nelson's channel until they actually get it. And I see Peter's still over there. He just put up a chat. I love butter. All right. But we're here. We're here. It's hump day. They're doing the drawing over there. Welcome. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. And as always, drink it if you got it. Oh, first sip of coffee in the morning. Decaf. I never start out too early with caffeine. I think that's a good idea. But I have a cup of decaf first thing. And the reason I do that is I actually heard it from Andrew Huberman a long time ago. And basically his theory, or he was parroting somebody else's theory, was you should not take stimulants during the time of day when your body is going through all of these physiological things to actually wake you up. To wake you up, we all know that there's a thing called dawn effect. Your blood sugar goes up. There's so many different systems that come online first thing in the morning. And it's probably better to let them play out before you start drinking any caffeine. So I normally wait. When I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, it's usually 9 o'clock or later that I have my first cup of real coffee, and I try not to drink any caffeine after noon or 1 o'clock. You tell me whether that really is doing any good, but there's some advice that's easy to follow. I do enjoy drinking decaf as much as I enjoy drinking regular, but I do enjoy that little kick in the butt from caffeine around mid-morning. They're all done over there at Kelsey's. It's terrific. I can't seem to ever end mine on time, but I do appreciate that. Usually Kelsey's got to get off to surgery or do something, but me, what else I got to do? Well, welcome, and any new subscribers that have found me this morning, welcome to you. Welcome to you. I hope you become one of the regulars. And Peter says, I noticed you changed the requirement for comment to subscribe for only 5 minutes. Do you think this will help get more viewers involved? No, Peter, you asked me that question the other day, and I appreciate you asking it because I wanted to explain it anyway, and you gave me a great excuse. I only use that feature to try to stop these troublemakers and trolls that sometimes come in and plague these chats with their nonsense. And they do have a subscribers only mode, and that's what that's for. You figure if somebody is a subscriber to your channel, they're not going to be a troublemaker. They give you have to pick a time limit. And the time limit can go from 5 minutes, is probably the shortest period, up to perhaps a week, 2 weeks, a month, a year, 10 years, a million years. You can put whatever you want in there, but the shortest, 5 minutes. And I said to myself, well, if a troll comes in and they won't let him in because he's not a subscriber, I doubt that the guy'd probably go and subscribe to my channel and come back 5 minutes later just to make trouble. I don't know if that does anything or not. What I found out is it's causing some confusion where people who are subscribers sometimes have to wait a few minutes for the chat to start working. And I don't like that. So I may just do away with that completely, and we'll deal with the trolls when they come in. Problem is, I can't monitor the chat that closely. So I want to leave it up to you all, the Mitchfits, to just, if you see a troll, jump on them, hound them. And then it'll get my attention, and I can go ahead and pretty much hide him from the chat from that point forward. So thanks for bringing that up, Peter. I appreciate that. Let's get started here. Let's get started. Mary M, always the first one. Always the first one in, and followed shortly by Michael. Michael Sealy in Tampa Bay. Good morning to you. Brian BMAT is here. Lady June, hi June, how are you? Mike Sealy in Melbourne. Aaron chimed in. Good morning to you, Booby Goats. Aaron at 6:57. Rick, hi Rick. How you doing, my friend? And Lori is here. All the usual suspects. And as if I didn't know, one of the two major players, Lambs, was our first one in at 7 a.m. and milliseconds, probably microseconds later, Robbie Autry. Good morning. Good morning. It is hump day, Robbie. How you doing? Here he goes. Thank you. Larry Ryan is here. Larry Ryan, Brendan McIntyre, good morning to you from Elgin, Illinois. Loretta Nadow, good morning, darlings. Have a fabulous day. Why not? It's going to warm up here. It's going to warm up here in Melbourne. It's not 35 degrees out there this morning. It's 60 degrees. What a difference. What a difference. And we're supposed to have that weather for a week, so I'll enjoy it before the next cold front comes through. I'm back to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers sweatshirt because it's the warmest thing that I have, other than a big jacket, which I don't want to wear. I guess up in northern Florida, it's still pretty chilly. Good morning, Sandy. How are you? And Barry Simon. Hi, Barry. Good hump day morning, Mitch, and all Mitchfits. Barry sent me a new here it is. Is this it? Yeah. And it's entitled Tearing Up YouTube. Tearing Up YouTube, he says. It's another one of these rant man things. Couldn't play it. The problem was playing this video. I think I already did download it, but let me download it here. I'll play it. I'll always figure out a way to play it. Let's see if it works. Hey. Yep. Oh, okay, let me get over to that screen. This is great. I love this. I'm going to start using this somewhere, Barry. Here it is. Here it goes. I love it. I love it. Don't you love it? I wish my muscles looked like that, guys. But we can dream, can't we? Anyway, thank you, Barry. That's just fabulous, and I'm going to figure out a way to use it. Wow, somebody bought me a coffee this morning. Holy cow, I haven't had one of them in a week. Greg Smith. Greg Smith bought me a coffee. Thank you so much, Greg. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. And yeah, and the last coffee I got was on the 18th from Bart. And then the one before that was the 16th. So that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. It's okay because my last few YouTube videos actually did very well. I guess many of you have noticed that, but I'm very happy. My channel started actually growing again. Because of one or two videos. So could be the name change where I got my name Carnivore out of the name of my channel. It's still my handle. My handle is still Old Guy Carnivore. When I go on and chat in somebody's chat on a live stream, it says Old Guy Carnivore. But there's a difference between your handle, YouTube handle, which has the @ sign in front of it and has no spaces in it. You'll notice in the chat that nobody's name has any spaces. That's a handle. You can name your channel anything you want. They used to use the YouTube channel names in the chat, which made it easy. But then, in their infinite wisdom, along with banning Kilts or Kilts' channel for some stupid reason, they decided to use the handles in the chats too. And we have no control over that, which makes it very difficult to read sometimes because they're long and they have no spaces in them. Good old YouTube. Good old YouTube. That's why that graphic of me tearing up YouTube can have two different meanings. Oh, well. So that was Barry and Lucy Workus here. How you doing, Lucy? And Barry Simon 1, 2. Who's this? Who's this? Wayne Herman from Lake Gaston, North Carolina. Hiya, Wayne. And Greg Smith, thanks for the coffee, my friend. Morning all from Alabama. And boy, is my nose itching for some reason. So you all pardon me. I could put up my Be Right Back thing, but those among you that don't ever get a little bit of runny nose, raise your hand. Anybody? Anybody? Thank you, Lori. Steve Rogers is here. I loved it when it said Captain America, but it doesn't say that anymore. So I always say it. And as with any superhero, they needed fanfare. Da, da, da. There you go. Good morning, Peter. How you doing this morning? Good to see you. Laurie says, if I shouldn't take stimulants, then I can't watch Mitch. I don't like that. Well, Laurie, you keep drinking that coffee first thing in the morning because we would hate to not have you here. And that's a Larry Ryan echoes that. My first cup of coffee at 8. Well, that's not bad. You're all right, Larry. If you get up at 4:30 and wait till 8 o'clock, then you're fine. I think you waited over 3 hours, so 3.5 hours. For what good it does. Again, everybody, so many people say so many things, may be true in theory. How it works out in actual practice, you can only tell by doing it yourself and seeing if it helps in any way. And even those changes may be so subtle and unnoticeable that wishful thinking is going to actually dictate whether you think you feel any difference or not. Kiltz at the end of the stream mentioned placebo effect, and that's what a placebo effect is. If you take a pill to cure something and you get it in your head that you feel better, so it must have been the pill. If you're on a placebo, which is just an inert pill that does nothing, and you still feel the effect, that's because you're convinced and you believe that you do feel better. That's not just for drug testing. That's true in everything, we do. So always got to watch out for that. But people tend to lean towards believing something that benefits them and that they want to believe, or at least they think benefits them. Sandy Blythe, good morning to you. And Butch Knapp, hi from Funky Bruce, Butch. Funky Butch from Nebraska. Man, I would love to live in Funk, Nebraska. Because when anybody asked, what's your address? And I would say Funk, Nebraska, I'd get great looks. I love that. I'm sure you do too. Has your city council ever contemplated changing the name, or is it so meaningful that would be out of the question? Rides Biscuit, good morning to you. And as Sandy again, I can't read these dark green names. I have to put them on the screen to read them. There's Rick. Jimmy Vaughn, hi, Jimmy from Missouri, Lake of the Ozarks. Good to see you. If you have any questions or comments or things you want to steer the conversation to, put 3 capital Q's before your comment and sometime before the end of the stream. We'll probably notice that they went by. Trying to get in the middle of the picture here. Bradley, David Good. Hey, Bradley. Hi, meat people. Hi, back at you. And Jojo was here. Morning, preparing for a blizzard up here to the Northeast. Got plenty of eggs and meat. There you go. That's all you need. That's all you need. Lori liked my new Rant Man thing. That was great. And it started with a picture of my face, and it actually maintained that pretty well through the whole graphic. Even when I turned sideways, it was pretty right on. So it's amazing. It's amazing. And I love those things. I got a number of them here from Barry already. One of the ones I like, where is it? Here, this one. Let me show you this one. And I'm going to use this somewhere.
I've turned into a South Park character.
Nope, wrong button. Let's do it again. Too many buttons. Here it is.
I've turned into a South Park character.
Oh, I covered it up. Let me do it again, because I know you can't see this too much. There we go.
I've turned into a South Park character.
I get such a kick out of those things. Barry, you got a great imagination. And Laurie says, always great, Barry. And Rick says, no muscles here either. Yeah, I still got a little bit, Rick. It's coming back. It's coming back. I'll never be Mr. Universe or anything like that. I don't want to be. My strength is pretty good. But I don't know if you work out, Rick. I don't know if you work out at all, but you seem to be active from morning till night. So I'm sure you get plenty of exercise. And believe me, the cavemen didn't have Nautilus equipment and free weights. If you have an active life, just the act of living your life should be all the exercise required, because that's how our ancestors were. They didn't go to gyms. They didn't go out of their way to sit on a stationary bicycle for an hour. They just lived their life. Unfortunately, these days, we have cell phones and televisions. We've gotten very sedentary. So we need to move more. We need to move more. Robin Downing is here from Gladstone, Missouri. Good morning, Robin. And Tristan, hi, Tristan, how are you? And Humaira, hello, everyone. A great commenter on a lot of my videos. Humaira always posts such great, flattering comments. I appreciate it. I really appreciate that. And speaking of comments, I love the fact that I actually had a video. It's almost up to 130,000 views now on that video about I'm not going to do annual physicals anymore. But it has had so many comments. And right now, I cleared the comments. I cleared the comments out of my comments that I hadn't replied to or read or disposed of in some way or another. But here are the unread comments from last night at about 10 o'clock until this morning that I have to tackle as soon as this live stream is over. And here they are. And I'm going to just keep scrolling down these things. These are comments that are unresponded. If I sort them by the newest, it puts the newest ones at the top. This one was 24 minutes ago. So let's see. Let me just scroll down here real fast so you can see the amount of work. No, it's got to be more than that. I did something wrong. No, maybe people were asleep. Those videos are slowing down. I almost say, thank God. I need to make another big video now. But not too bad. Not too bad. I only have to answer these. I did the same trick yesterday, and I scrolled for a couple of minutes, page after page after page. So hallelujah. Interestingly enough, to show you a little bit about how YouTube works, you can see that I had 129.1 thousand views on this. But if I look at this, if I click on this, no, it's not going to work. It does it on my cell phone. Can't do it here. Sorry, guys. There is a way, but I don't use my computer most of the time to look at the stuff. I use it on my cell phone, and that app works differently. You can click on a lot of things, and it takes you to somewhere else. So never mind. Steph B. Katz got a question way down here at the bottom of the chat. Back in July 1, upped my D3K2 to Dr. Berg's 10,000 international units a day, tested my D levels, and they were at 154, which is a little high, I would say. Toxic. I stopped a month ago and now walking with weird headache. Should I do 3 times a week? I can't. It's not. I can't answer that. That borders on a medical question, and I'm not a doctor. I was just the opposite. My D3 level a couple of years ago was 30, so I started taking 5,000 milligrams a day of the D3K2, 5,000 international units. I'm sorry, not milligrams. And last year it was at 65, and I was happy with that. Right in the middle of the range. When I had my stroke in February, I stopped taking the vitamin K2 because vitamin K2 is a coagulant as well as other things. And after a stroke, you don't want to thicken your blood, you want to thin it. So I started taking a little baby aspirin every day, which is the only thing I take right now. The only single thing other than supplements of electrolytes. And I had to mix up a new batch yesterday. I actually went through the previous 100 batches over the last couple of months. So I didn't film it. I just did it. It's the first time I've made these things where, well, not the first time, but I usually tried to film it so I could put it out again for people who were interested. But yesterday I said, no, I'm not going to bother filming it. I just want to make it. It took me 10 minutes. It was so fast and easy without having to explain everything as I went. So now I'm set for the next 100 days. And I do that regularly. This is 44 ounces, a 40-ounce thermos. And every day I get the brunt of my hydration from this. And the electrolytes are kind of metered in, all like a time-release electrolyte, metered in all day. The only electrolyte, even with the mix, that sometimes I think I'm a little short of is magnesium. Because I get a little leg cramps, or maybe even, I hate to say bathroom talk, but a little bit constipated. So I do have some 200 milligram magnesium citrate capsules that I might take for a few days until the leg cramps go away and everything straightens out. Just adding a little more magnesium to this. And that's the problem. There's no standard dose of anything for anybody. You can't recommend to everybody. You need to take 10,000 international units of vitamin D3 and K2 a day. Like you, they may almost poison you with that much vitamin D. If I took 10,000 units a day, I doubt it would get anywhere near 100. I've been advised by some of my viewers that I should be taking 30,000, 50,000 units of vitamin D. And there are YouTubers out there that are recommending taking massive doses of this stuff. I never listen to advice like that. Some of it may be right, but I don't think extremes in anything are going to do that much good. They did the same thing with vitamin C for years and years and years. They had people taking massive doses of vitamin C, trying to make sure that this oncoming cold didn't progress. Maybe it helped. I don't know. I don't think we were supposed to do that. Wow, I got all the way up to 713 in the chat. It's 729. Let me try to catch up here. Make sure I don't miss any questions. People are chatting away. Glad to see that. Glad to see that. Laurie and Sandy and Laurie and Bill Cook is here. Bill Cook. Hiya, Bill. How are you? Bill Cook is. I just went to American Heart Association. First, they had a place to donate money. Well, why? Of course. But they also had an assessment, so I took it. 60 out of 100. But they surely did not recommend carnivore. No, the AMA The AHA is like the American Diabetes Association. You go to their website, they got recipes on the front page for apple crisp or some other garbage, sugar-laden crap on a website about diabetes. They're shills and pushers for big pharma and big food. There's no doubt about that. Who do you think pays their bills? And anybody that donates a nickel to those people, it deserves what they get by following their advice. Steph said, Q. Hi, Steph. Inquiring minds indeed want to know. What do you want to know? Mandy Meadows says, good morning, Mitch. Good morning. Lori, hey, Barry, you got a side hustle there. That's funny. I like that. Some compliments from the ladies this morning. That makes me feel good. Mitch is my Mr. Universe. And then Sandy chimes in and says, yes, he is. Wow. Thank you so much, gals. I appreciate that. Rick says, Mitch is right. I am active and strong. Yes, you are, Rick. Yes, you are. No doubt about it. You don't need big muscles to be strong. If you don't believe that, just look at some of these women who are kind of wiry, but not really muscular. They can be very, very, you see them at the gym, they can be very, very strong. So, question, Mitch, can you put the QR code for Buy Me a Coffee on the screen? Thank you, Peter. Peter is my number one. Should I call him a manager? Yes, I will. Yes, I will, Peter. I will do that right now. If I can find it. Here it is. There you go. Buy me a coffee. Thank you. And maybe somebody else did, because once you mention it, people say, yeah, I'll do that. But no. Just Greg Smith so far. He says, morning, Mitch. Hope you have a great day. I intend to, Greg, and you stay safe. You stay safe out there on the road, my friend. And thank you for that, Peter. And Peter says, I take 10,000 international units of D3, and my D level is 165, which is perfectly fine, according to Dr. Burry's book about labs. I forgot the name of his book. The name of Burry's book is Common Sense Labs. It's a good book. It's a good book. I didn't realize he said that 165 was okay. It's kind of high. But if you feel good, maybe drop it back to 5,000 units. I don't think you need to be taking that much. And I did a lot of research on the interaction between D3 and K2. The theory is that vitamin K2 steers the calcium into the bones instead of steering it into the circulatory system. Sounds great. That's what I want. I don't want my calcium calcifying my arteries. I want it making my bones strong. But then, before you think about taking any supplement, look at what you're eating. Eating is where the nutrition's supposed to come from. If you eat eggs, you're probably getting adequate K2. If you just eat carnivore, you're probably getting adequate K2. You do absolutely want some calcium going into your blood circulatory system, because calcifying plaque is a defense mechanism the mechanism of the body. When you form some plaque, it's soft. It can break off and travel to your brain. It can cause a stroke. It can travel to your lungs and clot and kill you. It can cause heart attacks. And the body naturally calcifies it to make it more stable. That's why we have calcium in our arteries. To try to figure what's the exact amount of calcium I want into my arteries and the exact amount of calcium I want in my blood and how much of this do I have to take and how much of that do I take depending on my lifestyle and how much plaque I'm likely to get, which relies on my circulatory system and inflammation and how much LDL do I have. There are so many variables in there. We have the machinery in our head to figure that stuff out on a second-to-second basis and regulate everything. Leave it alone. I'm not for micromanaging your physiology. Eat the right food is the answer. Eat the food where that physiology evolved into existence. And you're more than likely going to have a better outcome, which is why carnivore works so well in curing all these chronic diseases, reversing diabetes, stopping these autoimmune conditions, especially in the gut like Crohn's and ulcerative colitis. Maybe the term naturopath they use for certain doctors is much, much better, a better method to follow than the allopaths who have a pill for everything and a blood test to figure out what pill it should be. We never needed that, not before 100 or 150 years ago. Never needed to worry about that. And I try to keep going back to that, and I keep preaching. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Trust your physiology. It's smarter than your conscious mind. It regulates everything. Your breathing, your heart rate. It goes so far as to expand and contract your arteries second by second. Dilate them and restrict them based on blood pressure and the amount of blood flow. We can't possibly stay on top of all those things. Same thing with ketone levels. Who says that the higher your ketones, the better you're going to be? Your body knows exactly how much ketone to make and how high it should be for optimal performance, for optimal odds of survival, because it's all about survival and reproduction, which is why carnivores get more fertile. When we stop eating all the poisonous plants and start eating real food, nutrition, women get more fertile. Just ask Ken Berry and Nisha about Bonnie Blue, who was a real surprise. A real surprise. God, look at these comments. Wow. You guys get into it pretty deep. I hope you can multitask and listen to me at the same time. It's always nice. All right, where did I leave off here? I don't see a lot of questions. Let me go over here and check. Just not that I'm the source of a lot of medical knowledge. I'm not. So, I know a lot, but I really don't want to put myself out there as a. There was Steph Cat's QQQ. Back in July, I got that one. Mitch, can you put the QR code? I got that one. Peter, if you don't ask, you don't get. Thank you, Peter. And this was the one way back, and Peter talked about the subscribers in the chat only, and that was it. So Stephanie Cat says, I'm listening too much, Mitch. Bride's Biscuits, we're carnivores. We have the bandwidth. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. No doubt. No doubt in my mind, when I look out at the sheer stupidity that the American people have become, at the crap that these people are putting out. You ever want to just get thoroughly disgusted with people and their attitudes? Go to YouTube. In the search bar, type morbidly obese people on YouTube stuffing their face. Type that in there. Or fat people stuffing their face. Or fat men, fat chicks stuffing, whatever you just make sure you put in there stuffing their face. I'm not going to describe to you what the thumbnails look like on the videos that come up. I've never watched any of the videos, but you start scrolling through these thumbnails and you're going to find what's happening to the human race and what's being glorified. These videos have hundreds of thousands, if not millions of views. One of them is the guy who must weigh 600 pounds eating pizza. And then he takes the pizza and he just smushes his face in and rubs it all over his face. Millions of views. That's what you need to do these days to become a star. And it's disgusting. And you see more and more of that. TikTok is the home for that kind of thing. YouTube doesn't hold a candle to TikTok when it comes to disgusting acting and looking humongous people eating, just constantly eating. Hiya, Tuka. Tuka says, how are you, boss? I'm stellar, Tuka. If I was any better, it would be against the law. Honest to God. I'm doing great this morning. I'm feeling good. I'm back on my basic carnivore that worked so well. No carbs, no cheats. I stopped thinking about whether all of these warnings from all of these people that say, if you don't add carbs, your blood sugar is going to do this, and you're going to suffer for it. It's bullshit, in my opinion. After my own experimentation, at least for me, it's bullshit. It may be true for somebody, but there are well-respected carnivore doctors and authors that tell you you got to flex both ways. I think, from my own experience, that you do all the flexing you need, and by flexing I mean metabolism leaning towards metabolizing sugar and metabolizing fat. And I believe that even though you don't eat sugar, your body gets all the sugar it needs. You don't go into really deep ketosis for a long time, which I don't think is all that good either. Your body performs like it's supposed to. We don't need to eat sugar. We manufacture sugar. We also can make fat out of the same three elements. Because that's the interesting thing that people don't understand. The three elements that all sugars are made of are carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen. Carbon and water. Carbohydrate. But in reality, all fats are also made out of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So by that definition, fats are also carbohydrates, but they're not metabolized the same way because of the chemical arrangement of these different molecules. That's why the body can convert things. It can convert sugar very easily to fat through these pathways that shuffle a few molecules around, like a three-card Monte trick. They just go through a certain things. That's what the electron transport chain does. It takes a proton here and puts it there, and before you know it, the actual arrangement. And if you don't believe me, go on Google and say, show me the molecular structure of sugar, and then show me the molecular structure of fat, and you'll see a whole thing of carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen molecules. Some of them are very, very similar to each other. So it's not a mystery. We can convert in our body. We can convert fats to sugar, sugars to fats, and we can use the sugars to make carbohydrates, or make sure we can use the triglycerides. A triglyceride are 3 fatty acids with a glycerol cap that binds them. Well, when you remove the glycerol cap, glycerol, that's pretty much sugar. And it holds the 3, and that happens every time. Every time, I get a little basic chemistry here, biology. Every time a fat has to go from the blood into a fat cell. And you don't believe me, this is real. We've discovered this. Nobody disputes it. A triglyceride cannot pass through the membrane of a fat cell. Can't pass through. There's no receptors or no way for a triglyceride to get into a fat cell. It must be converted first. So what happens, before it can get into the fat cell, it's actually disassembled into the glycerol backbone and 3 simple fatty acids. They individually can make it through transporters into the fat cell, and once they're in the fat cell, they're put back together again into a triglyceride. There's so much going on in our body at a cellular level, thousands of times a second, that it boggles the mind. Best to leave it alone. Don't try to think about it, regulate it, interfere with it, hack it. Much better let it do its job. And only when you start realizing the amazing and fabulous complexity of our physiology, that you just say, I can't deal with that. I can't deal with that. Well, you're not supposed to deal with it. You're not supposed to deal with it. Peter brought me a coffee. Oh, thank you, Peter. Mitch, thanks for all you do to help us loyal Mitchers. Much appreciated. My pleasure, Peter. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. There's a man who puts his money where his mouth is. Bride's Mystic says, convert. I didn't know fats were woke. I'm trying to keep up with what you're talking about. And God, the subject matter is crazy. It's crazy. Well, we got about 10 minutes to go. Wow, where did the time go? The time, 107 people here. Welcome. And if you're new and you just found me, welcome. Good to see you. Any of the people that just subscribed, because I've had almost 3,000 new subscribers in about 4 days, which was joyous for me. I never saw anything like that. That kind of growth rate since the beginning of when I started making carnivore videos. it's going to be a tough act to follow the last two videos. The last one I made, where I talked about my experiences with the urologist, is capped out probably about 10 or 12,000, 13,000 views, where the first one I put out got 130,000 views, about 10 times more. Everything has to go just right for YouTube to promote it. It rarely happens to me. If I had millions of subscribers, I'd reach those numbers more often. But I don't expect any of them to do that. If I get 10,000 views on a video, I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic. I've discovered something really interesting. Really interesting. The last two videos that I made elicited well over 1,000 comments. And so many comments that YouTube, and I read this the other day, sent me a summary of the sentiment of those comments. It looks like this. It says, comment summary. Viewers, and this is an AI summary of all those comments. Viewers overwhelmingly support the creator's decision to forego annual physicals and blood tests, reflecting a deep-seated distrust in the conventional medical system and a strong belief in self-managed health through diet and lifestyle. So that's a summary of it. Those videos are out there, and those comments are available for anybody who wants to read some of them and reply. So it's a learning experience. Many of those comments contained horror stories of medical mistreatment that make my rehab hospital adventure seem like a walk in the park. I mean, so many times in so many comments, people actually come out and said, I'm convinced these doctors killed my fill in the blank. Parents, sisters, children. And then they always quote the statistic that you see that the third leading cause of death is medical mistakes. So I'm thinking that this is not just a feeling of carnivores. In fact, most of the people who watch that video probably are not carnivores. So it's a subject that I may be talking about more often. I don't want to overdo it. But for one, I don't know if this is going to go anywhere or not. But I'm coming up with a kind of like a questionnaire, and I haven't really. Let me make this bigger. That's not working. Trying to enlarge it. Hang on. I'm so smooth. There we go. I'm trying to come up with this. I don't want to make a video out of it. I'm going to make it up into a fancy document, and I'll provide a link where you can actually download this document. And it's going to end up being an employment application that you can hand your doctor so he can fill out, and you can decide if you want to hire him, because that's the way it should be. Who the hell do these people think they are? They think they're some kind of authority figure over us. They're our employee. It's not their business to get mad at us if we won't follow their advice to fire us. We fire them. So I think that's a very, very hot topic. And I've come up with this. This is just a start. Empowering patients, understanding doctors' motivations and practices. And then these are questions. Is it unreasonable of you to think that you have the right, and for that matter, the responsibility to vet your doctor before you hire him or her? I agree, yes. First question might be why you became a doctor. Doc, most people today become doctors for the money. Nobody will admit it to you. Oh, I want to heal humanity and help people and bullshit. Bullshit. When I was a kid, my parents tried to talk me into being a doctor. This is a long time ago. I said, I don't want to be a doctor. Why should I be a doctor? And the common, constant answer was, because you'll get rich. You have a big house and a nice car and a country club. That's why you want to become a doctor. Do many people ask you why they're told to ask you by what they're told by TV commercials? In other words, of all the TV commercials say, ask your doctor this or that. Ask your doctor. Do people really come in and ask you, do I need some Balta so I can be a dancing fat chick like the one on TV? Here's a great question. Why do you carry malpractice insurance? If you ever want to hear a doctor go off on lawyers, it's very entertaining. You make more money when you cure someone or simply when you treat them for life. Do you make any money based on the number of prescriptions you write? Then, inquiries about practices, practice operations, and patient actives. Why do you have such a large office staff? Who pays for all this? Are you happy with the reimbursements you get from insurance companies? Can your patients tell you directly, or do they have to make an appointment just to have a phone? Can they call you directly? And on and on and on. And I've got this many of these things so far. And I want to try to make it into a, do you agree, yes or no, or a long form answer. So I'm thinking that would make a very entertaining video. And I think those of us with real guts, just for the joy of putting these doctors and their arrogance and egos on the spot to try to knock them down a peg, because they're killing us with this advice. They're killing us with these drugs they prescribe. They're killing our loved ones. They're prolonging our suffering because they make money when we suffer longer. They don't make money when they cure something. It's a passionate subject. And this last video I put out showed me more and more and more and more people are waking up to the fact that they're not getting the help they should from the medical community or the drug companies. The drug companies no longer invent cures. They invent subscriptions for life and prolong whatever illness it is. It's a disgusting, despicable system, but they control it because they control the narrative. They own the media by virtue of the amount of advertising revenue they funnel into the system. They're on all the boards of directors of the teaching hospitals. They own the medical curriculum that's taught, at least the nutrition part of it. And anybody who, after being told this and shown this, that won't accept it, would rather just take the drugs, is one of those people that's going to spend the rest of their life just looking for the next magic pill, like Ozempic. Sure to become one of the greatest medical catastrophes that's ever been fostered on us. It's absolutely scary if you project out what could happen. Almost as scary as artificial intelligence and its longer term effect on how we human beings have lost all our freedom and now have to answer to machines. And movies like The Terminator just don't seem so far-fetched anymore. But then again, neither did George Orwell's book, 1984. It just took a little longer to happen. Or Ayn Rand's book, or books. Atlas Shrugged. And look at our government today and how we're slaves to them. They control our lives. You get a letter from the IRS in the mail. You panic. Before you even open it, you expect a disaster or more of a hard time. Anyway, other than that, it's a beautiful world. It's going to be a beautiful day today. Let me play a little happy music instead of preaching doom. And DS111 says, just wear a t-shirt in your doctor's office that says, nope, not today. In this video I'm going to make, I'm going to talk about what I do with these doctors, how I don't take anything from them, how I always get labeled an uncooperative patient and get punished for that because I'm doing what they told me to do, which is advocate for myself. If I get a doctor that gets upset when I disagree with him, I fire him. I'm better with no doctor than that. I believe that. I'll find another doctor. And when I find him, I want to find out what kind of doctor he is and what he believes before I hire them. Problem is, most doctors are on the wrong side of this. And finding a good doctor is a real chore. Trauma doctors, the kinds you find in the emergency rooms, are probably the best doctors out there. And those are the ones you're going to need when something bad happens to you to put you back together. So if I fire a doctor, I don't worry about it too much because so far, most of the medical treatments I've gotten have been the response to a stroke, a head injury, and I go to the emergency room and take it from there. So the emergency room's always going to be there. If you get taken in by an ambulance, you're going to get seen pretty quick. At least now. I don't know how bad it's going to be in the future. So that's my modus operandi now as far as medical care. And that's why I decided to quit the annual physicals. They're fishing expeditions for the medical community to find something else that they can scare you with and tell you need to buy more of their services and drugs. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And when it's broke, I'm going to the emergency room. One of the things about, this is an important point, one of the things about the emergency room that makes it the place to go, even though it's supposed to be for just emergencies, is they have everything there. They have all the tests, the imaging, the MRIs, the CAT scans. They have everything needed to deal with broken things. They have everything there needed for emergency procedures. If they have to shock your heart, it's all there. If you try to go into a doctor's office to deal with problems, first you got to wait 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 2 months for the appointment. Then you go in there and a doctor diagnoses something. And he has to send you to get blood tests. He sends you out to get imaging, and you wait another week before you finally get the results. And then you got to go back to the doctor's office and go over the results with him. All the while, you're not knowing you are dying or not, tense as hell, anxious, stressed. And then they try to devise a treatment plan. Whereas if it's something that can be fixed, and you go into the emergency room, you may not get the fine-tuned diagnosis that you might get from 6 months worth of investigation by a talented doctor, but you will get most of the services within an hour or two, once you get into the treatment rooms, you get the test, you get the imaging will be read, the lab tests will be read, because they want to get you out of the emergency room. And real quick, you'll find out whether you're having a heart attack or you're having an anxiety attack or you're having indigestion. 3 things which can have symptoms that seem very similar. If you had to do the same thing by going to a cardiologist, it would take you months and tons of money to find out the same thing. Well, that was just an anxiety attack. Your heart's fine. That's why I rely on the emergency room as long as I can, and it's something that's doable. That's my philosophy. Anyway, thanks, guys. I always talk too much, go over time, but that's okay. Bonus rant, says Lori. Yes, a bonus rant. Sometimes rants are the best way to communicate, and there's no doubt in anybody's mind when they say, well, how do you really feel, Mitch? No doubt about that. My friends, I will see you tomorrow night, Thursday night live with Mitch. Look forward to seeing everybody there, where we'll have our panel. We had a great little meeting last night, and maybe tomorrow night the same. Friday morning, I'll be back here at Morning Coffee with Mitch. Until those things happen, have a great day. Take the rest of the day off. All together now. Eat meat.